share with you something about spiritualism. And I draw this from John Edmonds and George Dexter's Spiritualism. And I draw it from them because that's what I happen to have been reading this morning. And he shares with us one of the teachers, and they have two that come in that teach. They have Francis Bacon and Emanuel Swedenborg. And I believe this teaching came from Swedenborg. And they share with us that a soul bowed down or under burden by error cannot ascend toward a heavenly home until it has been purged, until it has purged itself through its own efforts of the misdirection that caused the error. And as I was contemplating this, it came to mind that this was suggesting that it is through no fault of another that we become misdirected, whether deceived by others or not, because the decision to accept it as truth rests with us. And if we choose to believe something that we question, and if we choose not to investigate it, then we have purposefully misled ourselves, not the other person that is sharing the information, but we have done it to ourselves, because there is a difference from believing something false to be true. For Davis tells us that there is no wrong in believing a falsehood to be true. There's nothing wrong with that. It happens. But to follow a falsehood as truth while suspecting it to be false is another story. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah, absolutely.
Would anyone like to comment on that or any questions?
One of the things that in my training as a minister, and I haven't verified this independently, but it kind of fits what you're describing, and that was that the payment, I guess is the word. I'm trying to find a better one. That we pay for a transgression, some spiritual law that we break 3 times. But if that's in ignorance. If we know, we understand the law and we break it, we pay 7 times. And that would seem to fit what you're saying there. Would be a similar way of describing that. It's one thing to believe something and not be aware, but once you are aware, you have a greater responsibility. That's an excellent lesson. Thank you for sharing it.
Thank you. That's a good way of explaining it too. I don't know about the saying, but believing something through ignorance is one thing, but when you know it to be false and you continue with it, that's something altogether different. And I want to thank all of you and Reverend Thomas for adding his thoughts to that, for allowing me to share this with you.